I met Ryan Mitchell when I was 16. Back then, neither of us had money, influence, or a clear plan for the future. We were just two ambitious teenagers sitting on a broken bench behind our school, talking about the lives we wanted. "I'll be rich someday," Ryan said. I laughed. "That's your plan? Just become rich. It's a better plan than yours." "My plan is to build something." Ryan pointed at me. "Then I'll build it with you." I still remember shaking his hand that day. "Deal," I said. "Deal, brother." For years, that was what he called me. Brother. The word meant everything to me. When we finished college, we started our company together. The first office was a tiny room above an old repair shop. The ceiling leaked whenever it rained. One afternoon, I stared at the water dripping into a bucket. "We look ridiculous," I said. Ryan laughed. "We're future millionaires. Future millionaires can survive a little rain." "A little rain?" I pointed upward. "It looks like a waterfall." He grinned. "Trust me, Ethan. One day we'll miss this place." At the time, I believed him. The years passed faster than I expected. The company grew. New clients arrived. More employees joined. Soon we moved into a real office. Then an even bigger one. Every milestone felt like proof that our hard work mattered. One evening, I arrived home exhausted. Sophia was waiting with dinner. "Long day?" she asked. "The longest." She smiled. "That's what you said yesterday. Yesterday wasn't this bad." She laughed softly. "At least Ryan is helping." "Yeah. You know," she said, "most people never find a friend like him."
He sat beside her.
"I know. He treats you like family." "He is family." She squeezed my hand. "You're lucky." I looked at my wedding ring and nodded. "I really am." For a long time, I believed life had given me everything. A growing business, a loving wife, a best friend who would never betray me. I couldn't see the cracks forming underneath. The first sign seemed harmless. We were meeting investors after closing a major deal. One of them raised a glass. "To Ethan," he said. "Without his leadership, this wouldn't have happened." Everyone applauded. I smiled awkwardly. "Come on," I said. "Ryan deserves credit too." Ryan raised his glass. "Don't worry about me." His smile looked normal. Almost. But something felt strange. Just for a second. A tiny shift in his expression. Gone before I could understand it. Later that night, I asked him about it. "Everything okay?" "Of course." "You seemed upset." He frowned. "Because investors complimented you?" "I don't know." Ryan shook his head. "Ethan, you're imagining things." I laughed. "Maybe. Definitely." Then he put an arm around my shoulder. "You earned the praise." I felt foolish for even asking. Months later, it happened again. An employee congratulated me after a successful presentation. Ryan stayed quiet. Too quiet. When the employee left, I looked at him. "What?" "Nothing." "You sure?" He smiled. "I'm sure." Again, I ignored the feeling. Trust can make you blind. I trusted Ryan more than I trusted my own instincts. By the company's 10th anniversary, we were hosting a huge celebration. Music filled the hall. Employees laughed. Champagne glasses clinked together. Sophia stood beside me. "You should be proud," she said. "We both should." "No." She pointed toward the crowd. "You built this." Before I could answer, someone called my name. Then another person. Then another. People kept congratulating me. The attention felt overwhelming. I glanced across the room. Ryan was standing near the bar, watching. For one brief moment, our eyes met. I saw something there. Not anger. Not sadness. Something colder. Resentment. The look disappeared instantly. He walked over with a smile. "There he is." I forced a grin. "There who is?" "The star of the company." I laughed. "Stop. I'm serious." He raised a glass. "Everyone, let's hear it for Ethan Carter." The room erupted in applause. I looked at Ryan. He was smiling. Yet something inside me felt uneasy. The feeling vanished as quickly as it came. The celebration continued. The music grew louder. The conversations became warmer. By the end of the night, I convinced myself I had imagined everything. Looking back now, I know better. That moment was the first crack in the foundation of my life. As the party ended, Ryan pulled me aside. "I've been thinking. That sounds dangerous." He laughed. "I'm serious." "Okay, what's going on?" His eyes lit up with excitement. "I have an idea." "What kind of idea?" "A big one." I folded my arms. "Now you've got my attention." Ryan leaned closer. "What if we expand internationally?" I stared at him. "You're serious?" "Completely. That would change everything." His smile widened. "Exactly." I looked around at everything we had built together. The company, the employees, the future waiting ahead. Then I looked back at the man I trusted like a brother. "Let's hear the plan," I said. Ryan smiled, and I had no idea that saying those words would change my life forever. The international expansion began 3 weeks after Ryan shared his idea. First, everything felt exciting. New investors joined. New offices were planned. New opportunities appeared almost every day. One morning, Ryan walked into my office carrying a stack of folders. "I need a favor," he said. "That depends." He dropped the folders onto my desk. "I want to handle the financial side of the expansion." I looked up. "Why?" "Because you're better with operations." "And you're better with numbers?" He grinned. "Exactly." I laughed. "Fine. Divide and conquer." Ryan extended his hand. "Like always." I shook it without hesitation. Like always. For the next several months, I focused on managing employees, clients, and daily operations while Ryan handled investors and finances. Everything seemed to be working, at least on the surface. One afternoon, I entered a conference room and noticed a strange silence. 3 managers stopped talking when I walked in. "Did I interrupt something?" I asked. One of them forced a smile. "No. You all look guilty." Another laughed nervously. "We were just discussing budgets." I shrugged. "Carry on." The conversation never restarted. When I left, something about the moment bothered me. Still, I pushed the feeling aside. That evening, Ryan and I met for drinks. "The expansion is going well," I said. "Better than expected." "You seem confident." "I have reasons to be." I smiled. "That's what I like to hear." Ryan raised his glass. "To the future." "To the future." A few days later, another strange moment happened. An investor I had worked with for months seemed unusually distant. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Of course." "You seem uncomfortable." He looked away. "Just a stressful week." His answer felt rehearsed. After he left, I found myself replaying the conversation. Something wasn't right, yet I couldn't identify the problem. That night, Sophia noticed my mood immediately. "You've been quiet." I looked up from dinner. "Have I?" "Very." I sighed. "Work. Good work or bad work?" "I don't know." She studied me carefully. "Can I ask something?" "Always." She hesitated. "Why do some people seem uncomfortable around you lately?" My fork stopped moving. "What do you mean?" "I've noticed it at events." I frowned. "I haven't." "Maybe I'm imagining it." "No." I leaned back. "Tell me exactly what you saw." Sophia shrugged. "A few employees avoid eye contact. And some investors seem nervous when you're around." The comment confused me. I've never had problems with any of them. "I know." "Did someone say something?" "Not directly." I sat silently for a moment. Then I forced a smile. "You're probably overthinking it." She didn't look convinced. "Maybe." But her question stayed in my head. The following week, I reviewed several company reports before a meeting. Most of the numbers looked normal. Then I noticed a transaction that seemed unusual. I checked another report. Then another. A few figures didn't match perfectly. Nothing major. Just enough to catch my attention. I immediately called Ryan. He arrived 20 minutes later. "What's so urgent?" he asked. I pointed at the documents. "These numbers." Ryan glanced at them. "Oh, you already knew about this?" "Of course." I looked at him. Then explain it. Ryan sat down. The overseas accounts are creating timing differences. Timing differences? Money is moving between multiple regions. I listened carefully. That's all. That's all. He opened another report. Look here. I followed his finger across the page. Then he showed me several supporting documents. Everything appeared legitimate. Everything had an explanation. When he finished, I nodded slowly. That actually makes sense. Ryan laughed. You thought I was stealing from you? No. Good. He smiled. Because that would hurt my feelings. I laughed too. Forget I mentioned it. But as Ryan gathered the papers, a quiet voice inside my head refused to disappear. Something feels wrong. The thought came suddenly. Then again. And again. I ignored it. Ryan was my best friend. My business partner. My brother in everything except blood. Trusting him felt natural. Questioning him felt wrong. A month later, Ryan entered my office carrying another stack of paperwork. I need signatures. I barely looked up from my laptop. For what? Expansion approvals. I reached for a pen. Ryan placed the documents in front of me. We've been working toward this for months. I flipped through the pages quickly. Most of the language was legal jargon. Everything standard? Completely. You already reviewed it? Twice. I nodded. Then we're good. Ryan smiled. I knew you'd say that. One by one, I signed every page. My signature appeared again and again. Each stroke of the pen took only seconds. When I finished, I handed the documents back. There you go. Ryan carefully collected them. This is going to change everything. I smiled. Hopefully for the better. His eyes lingered on the papers. Then he looked at me. Oh, it will. Something about his tone felt strange. Just for a moment. Then it disappeared. I ignored the feeling like I always did. Ryan tucked the documents under his arm. Trust me, Ethan. I smiled. I do. He nodded and walked out of the office. The door closed behind him. I returned to work without another thought. I had no idea that the papers I had just signed were the first real step toward my destruction. My life fell apart on a Tuesday morning. I arrived at the office expecting a normal day. Instead, I found panic. Employees stood in small groups whispering. Phones rang nonstop. The atmosphere felt wrong immediately. I stopped one of our managers. What's happening? He looked nervous. You haven't heard? Heard what? Before he could answer, Ryan appeared. His face looked pale. Ethan, we need to talk. My stomach tightened. What happened? Come with me. We entered a conference room. The moment the door closed, Ryan exhaled heavily. Government investigators are here. I stared at him. For what? They found evidence of financial fraud. The words barely made sense. What are you talking about? I don't know. You handle the finances. Ryan looked offended. Are you accusing me? No. I'm asking questions. Before he could respond, the door opened. Two investigators entered. One placed a folder on the table. Mr. Carter? Yes. We need your cooperation. Of course. There are allegations that company funds were misused. I laughed nervously. There must be a mistake. The investigator didn't smile. We've frozen several accounts. My heart dropped. Frozen. Effective immediately. The room suddenly felt smaller. This can't be real. We have documents bearing your signature. I remembered the paperwork Ryan had given me weeks earlier. A cold feeling spread through my chest. I need to see those documents. You will. The investigators left. Silence filled the room. I looked at Ryan. What is going on? I don't know. You reviewed everything. I know. Then explain this. Ryan shook his head. I wish I could. For the first time, doubt touched my mind. Only for a second. Then it disappeared. By afternoon, the news had exploded everywhere. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Investors demanded answers. Reporters waited outside. Social media filled with accusations. One headline made my stomach turn. Business executives suspected in million-dollar fraud. I called one of our largest investors. Please tell me you don't believe this. His voice sounded cold. What should I believe, Ethan? The truth. And what's that? I didn't steal anything. A long silence followed. We'll let investigators decide. The call ended. Another investor refused to speak with me. A third accused me directly. You lied to all of us. I didn't. Then explain the missing money. I can't because I don't know where it went. Convenient answer. The line went dead. Every conversation felt like a door slamming shut. The next day, the situation became worse. News stations replayed my photo constantly. Commentators discussed my supposed crimes. Strangers online called me a thief. I sat in my office watching my reputation burn. Then I saw Ryan on television. A reporter asked him a question. Did you know about the fraud allegations? Ryan looked shocked. Absolutely not. Do you support Mr. Carter? Ryan hesitated. The pause lasted only seconds. Yet it felt endless. I support the investigation. My chest tightened. That wasn't support. That was distance. Carefully calculated distance. Later I called him. What was that interview? What do you mean? You sounded like you barely know me. Ethan. Reporters were watching. I'm your partner. I have to protect the company. The answer felt wrong. But I still wanted to trust him. That evening Sophia sat across from me in silence. Finally she spoke. Tell me the truth. I am. Then where did the money go? I don't know. She rubbed her forehead. Do you hear how that sounds? I stared at her. You think I did this? I don't know what to think. The words hurt more than any headline. Sophia. I'm scared. So am I. She looked away. Everyone keeps saying the evidence points to you. I'm innocent. I want to believe that. The way she said it made my heart sink. The following days became a nightmare. Employees stopped returning my calls. Friends disappeared. Messages went unanswered. People I had known for years suddenly acted like strangers. Then came the board meeting. The room felt cold. One board member cleared his throat. We've reached a decision. I already knew what was coming. You want me gone. We believe it's necessary. Until the investigation ends? Yes. I laughed bitterly. I built this company. No one responded. Another member finally spoke. We're removing you from leadership effective immediately. The vote was unanimous. Not a single person defended me. After everyone left, I remained alone in my office. The silence felt unbearable. I looked around at everything I had spent years building. Then I realized something terrifying. Nobody was standing beside me anymore. Not investors. Not employees. Not friends. Maybe not even Sophia. A knock interrupted my thoughts. Ryan entered quietly. I'm sorry. I laughed without humor. Are you? Of course. Then why does it feel like everyone abandoned me? He sat across from me. This will pass. You sound confident. It will. I studied his face. Something seemed off. Not guilt. Not concern. Something else. Something I couldn't identify. Then it vanished. Ryan stood. Try to stay strong. After he left, the office felt emptier than before. That night, I returned home exhausted. Sophia was waiting near the stairs. She looked like she had been crying. We need some space. My heart dropped. What? I think I should stay with my sister for a while. I stared at her. You're leaving. Temporarily. Sophia, please. I need time. She picked up her suitcase. I wanted to stop her. I wanted to say something that would change everything. Instead, I stood frozen. A few minutes later, the front door closed. The sound echoed through the house. Then silence followed. For the first time in years, I was completely alone. The weeks after Sophia left were the darkest of my life. Every morning I woke up hoping things would improve. Every evening proved they hadn't. Bills piled up across my kitchen table. Legal notices arrived almost daily. My savings were disappearing faster than I expected. The worst part wasn't losing money. It was losing people. One afternoon I opened social media and instantly regretted it. Thousands of strangers had opinions about me. Fraud. Criminal. Con artist. I closed the screen. The insults still echoed in my head. My phone rang. For a moment I felt hopeful. Then I saw Sophia's name. I answered immediately. Hi. Hi. An awkward silence followed. How are you? I asked. Tired. Me too. Another silence. Finally I said, when are you coming home? She didn't answer right away. Ethan. I think we should wait until the investigation ends. My chest tightened. You're still saying that? I need answers. So do I. This isn't easy for me. I laughed bitterly. You think it's easy for me? No. Then why does it feel like you're treating me like I'm guilty?
Sophia sighed.
I'm trying to be realistic. I'm your husband. I know. Then believe me. Her voice became softer. I don't know what to believe anymore. The words hit me like a punch. What does that mean? It means I don't recognize the situation. That's not what I asked. She stayed silent. Sophia. What? Do you trust me? The pause felt endless. I don't know. I closed my eyes. Wow. Ethan. No. I swallowed hard. Just answer one question. Okay. Do you think I'm capable of stealing from people? She hesitated. That hesitation hurt more than any answer. Finally she spoke. I don't know who you are right now. The sentence shattered something inside me. For several seconds I couldn't speak. Then I quietly ended the call. That night I sat alone in my living room staring at nothing. A knock interrupted the silence. I opened the door and froze. Mom! Linda Carter smiled gently. You look terrible. I almost laughed. That's because I feel terrible. She walked inside carrying grocery bags. What are you doing here? Taking care of my son. I'm 32. And I can survive. She looked around the empty house. Clearly, for the first time in weeks, I smiled. She spent the evening cooking while I sat at the kitchen table. Eventually she spoke. Do you want to tell me what's happening in your head? Not really. Too bad. I laughed. She sat beside me. Ethan. What? I believe you. The words caught me off guard. You do? Yes. Why? Because I know you. My eyes burned unexpectedly. Not everyone agrees. She squeezed my hand. Then they're wrong. A few days later another person entered my corner. Daniel Reed. My lawyer. My friend. When he arrived at my house, he carried several boxes of documents. You look busy. I am. What is all this? He placed the boxes on my table. Your defense. I frowned. You actually think we can fight this? Daniel gave me a sharp look. Fight it? Yeah. We're going to destroy it. That confidence felt strange after weeks of doubt. We spent hours reviewing records. Numbers. Contracts. Emails. Reports. Most of it made my head hurt. Then Daniel stopped turning pages. What? He leaned closer to a document. That's interesting. I looked at him. What is? These transactions. My stomach tightened. What about them? They don't make sense. He pulled several files together. Look here. I studied the records. I don't understand. Money moved through accounts Ryan controlled. I frowned. So why wasn't that disclosed? I stared at the page. Maybe there's an explanation. Maybe. Daniel didn't sound convinced. For the next hour, we reviewed more documents. Each discovery raised new questions. Each answer created another problem. Eventually, I leaned back. You think Ryan knows something? I think Ryan is connected somehow. I immediately shook my head. No. Daniel crossed his arms. Why not? Because he's Ryan. And he's my best friend. Daniel looked directly at me. Ethan, friendship isn't evidence. I wanted to argue. Instead, I remained silent. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every conversation I'd ever had with Ryan. Every promise. Every handshake. Every moment he called me brother. Then another thought appeared. What if he lied? I hated the idea instantly. Yet it refused to disappear. For the first time, I seriously considered something impossible. What if Ryan betrayed me? The realization felt unbearable, like losing a family member without a funeral. The next afternoon, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. Normally, I ignored those calls. This time I answered. "Hello." A nervous voice responded. "Mr. Carter?" "Yes. This is Marcus Hill." I immediately recognized the name. Marcus had worked for the company for years. "Marcus?" "Yes. Why are you calling?" "I can't talk long." His voice sounded tense. "What's wrong?" "I know something." My heartbeat quickened. "What do you mean?" There was a brief silence. Then Marcus spoke quietly. "I think someone set you up." I stood immediately. "Who?" "I can't discuss it over the phone." "Marcus, you need to trust me." The irony almost made me laugh. "When can we meet?" "Tomorrow night." "Will you tell me everything?" Another pause followed. Then Marcus answered. "Yes." The line disconnected. I stared at my phone for several seconds. For the first time since my world collapsed, I felt something new. Not fear. Not grief. Hope. I met Marcus Hill the following night in a quiet diner outside the city. When I arrived, he was already sitting in a corner booth. He looked nervous. "Thanks for coming," he said. "You said someone set me up." Marcus glanced around. "Keep your voice down." I slid into the seat. "Start talking." He swallowed hard. I didn't understand what was happening at first. "What happened?" "I saw financial records that didn't make sense." My pulse quickened. "What kind of records?" Marcus opened a folder. "These." I stared at the documents. Several transactions were highlighted. "Why are these important?" "Because Ryan approved every one of them." I looked up immediately. "Are you sure?" I checked multiple times. The diner suddenly felt too small. "Marcus, this is serious." "I know. You could be wrong." His expression hardened. "I'm not." Silence settled between us. Finally I asked, "Why come to me now?" "Because I watched your life get destroyed. And I couldn't live with myself anymore." For a moment neither of us spoke. Then Marcus pushed the folder toward me. "Take it." I looked down at the evidence. The first crack in my trust had become a fracture. The next morning I brought everything to Daniel. He spent nearly an hour reviewing the documents. Finally he looked up. "This changes everything." I leaned forward. "How much?" "A lot." "You believe Marcus?" Daniel nodded. "These records point directly toward Ryan." I rubbed my face. "I still can't understand why." "Maybe greed. Maybe jealousy." That possibility hurt even more. For the next several days we worked nonstop. Every document revealed another inconsistency. Every inconsistency led to another question. Then Daniel introduced me to someone new. "Meet Emma Brooks." I looked across the conference table. A woman around my age extended her hand. "Nice to meet you." I shook it. "Daniel says you're a financial expert." "He exaggerates." "No, I don't," Daniel said. Emma rolled her eyes. "I help trace hidden assets." I sat down. "You think there are hidden assets?" She opened a laptop. "I think there are always hidden assets." Despite everything happening, I almost smiled. For the first time in months, someone wasn't looking at me like a criminal. She looked at me like a client. Nothing more, nothing less. We spent the afternoon reviewing records. Eventually Emma closed a file. "Can I ask something?" "Sure." "Why haven't you given up?" The question surprised me. "I've thought about it. But I know I'm innocent." Emma nodded. "Good answer." "Is it?" "Yes." She leaned back. "People who are guilty usually focus on escaping consequences. And innocent people? They focus on finding the truth." For the first time in weeks, I felt a small piece of confidence return. The investigation continued. As more questions surfaced, Ryan began acting differently. Several employees mentioned strange meetings. Others reported sudden changes in financial records. One afternoon Daniel called me. "He seems nervous." "Ryan." "Very." "What happened?" He hired additional lawyers. I frowned. That doesn't prove anything. No. Daniel smiled slightly. But innocent people usually don't panic. Meanwhile, another unexpected ally appeared. Her name was Olivia Grant, an investigative journalist. She called me one evening. Mr. Carter? Yes. My name is Olivia Grant. What can I do for you? I'm researching the company scandal. I almost hung up. I'm not interested in another interview. Neither am I. That caught my attention. What do you mean? I think the public story is incomplete. I sat down slowly. Go on. I've been following financial records. And I found transactions connected to Ryan Mitchell. My heartbeat accelerated. How many? Enough to ask questions. For the next 20 minutes we compared information. Every detail strengthened the same conclusion. Ryan wasn't a victim. Ryan wasn't an innocent bystander. Ryan was connected. After the call ended, I stared out my window for a long time. Memories kept returning. Every promise. Every handshake. Every time he called me brother. The anger inside me grew stronger each day. Not because I lost money. Not because I lost my company. Because someone I trusted completely had used that trust against me. A week later, Emma called unexpectedly. Her voice sounded different. Ethan, what happened? I need you to come to the office. Now? Immediately. I grabbed my keys and left. When I arrived, Daniel and Emma were already waiting. Neither looked relaxed. My stomach tightened. What is it? Emma turned her monitor toward me. Take a look. I studied the screen. Several account numbers appeared. I didn't recognize any of them. What am I looking at? Emma pointed to a specific transaction. This account received money from multiple company sources. I frowned. So? It isn't listed anywhere in official records. The room went silent. I looked at Daniel. What does that mean? He answered quietly. It means someone hid it. My pulse pounded. Who owns the account? Emma inhaled slowly. For a second, nobody spoke. Then she clicked another document. A name appeared on the screen. Ryan Mitchell. I stared at it. Unable to speak. Unable to think. Emma finally broke the silence. We found a secret offshore account. I looked at Ryan's name again. The truth was no longer a suspicion. It was evidence. And for the first time, I knew exactly who had destroyed my life. I stared at the evidence spread across the table. Everything pointed to Ryan. Every file. Every transaction. Every hidden account. Daniel broke the silence. We finally have enough to expose him. I nodded slowly. Then we do it. Emma looked at me carefully. Are you sure? I frowned. Why wouldn't I be? She leaned forward. Because you're shaking. I looked down at my hands. They were trembling. It's anger, I said. Daniel crossed his arms. Anger makes mistakes. I don't care anymore. Emma's voice softened. You should. I looked at her. What are you saying? I'm asking what you really want. Justice. Are you sure? The question irritated me. What else would I want? She didn't answer immediately. Instead she said, Revenge and justice are not the same thing. I laughed bitterly. After everything he did to me, you expect me to forgive? I expect you to think. That hit harder than I expected. Daniel stepped in. She's not wrong. I turned to him. You too. He didn't hesitate. Revenge will destroy what you have left. I don't have anything left. Emma replied quickly. You have your name. And my life. Exactly. Silence filled the room. I leaned back, trying to control my breathing. Images kept flashing in my mind. Ryan smiling at investors. Ryan shaking my hand. Ryan calling me brother. Then Ryan walking away while I fell apart. My voice dropped. I want him to feel what I felt. Emma didn't look away. And if that doesn't heal you, it will. You sound like him. That sentence froze me. What? Ryan believed punishment fixed everything too. I stood up immediately. Don't compare me to him. I'm not. Then stop saying things like that. Daniel raised his hand. Both of you calm down. I paced the room. I trusted him for years. I know, Emma said. He destroyed my life. I know. And now you want me to sit back? I want you to be careful. I stopped walking. Careful how? Careful not to lose yourself. The words hit deeper than I wanted. For a moment I said nothing. Then I sat down again. My anger hadn't disappeared, but something else had appeared beside it. Doubt. Meanwhile, things outside were collapsing for Ryan. Daniel updated me daily. He lost another investor. Good. He looks unstable. Good. Emma shot me a warning look. I ignored it. Daniel continued. His father is questioning him now. I looked up. Charles Mitchell. Yes. That must hurt him. Daniel nodded. It does. I leaned forward. Let it hurt. Emma sighed. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I turned to her. What? You're enjoying this too much. I'm just getting justice. Or revenge. The words hung in the air. I didn't answer, because I wasn't sure anymore. A few days later Olivia called. Her voice was urgent. Ethan, things are escalating. What do you mean? Ryan is panicking. So? He is making mistakes. Good. She paused. It's not just that. What else? He is trying to cover his tracks aggressively. Daniel took the phone from me. Olivia, do you have proof? More than enough. Then publish it. I'm preparing to. After the call ended, Daniel looked at me. This is about to go public. I nodded. Finally, Emma stepped closer. Are you ready for what comes after? What do you mean? Public exposure destroys people. He destroyed me first. She didn't argue, but she didn't agree either. The next morning everything changed. Daniel rushed into my office. They opened a formal investigation. I stood up immediately. Who did? He hesitated. Detective James Walker. My heart skipped. Against Ryan? Yes. I stared at him. Official. Completely. Emma entered behind him. That means it's real now. I sat slowly. It was already real. Daniel shook his head. No. This is the beginning of legal action. Emma added quietly. Now the system sees him too. I leaned back. For the first time, the anger inside me shifted. It wasn't just mine anymore. It belonged to the truth. And the truth was finally moving forward without me forcing it. Daniel placed a file on the desk. Walker wants all evidence. I nodded. Give it to him. Emma watched me closely. You sound different. I looked at her. Maybe I am. She studied me for a moment. Good. I frowned. Why is that good? Because you're starting to separate yourself from revenge. I didn't answer immediately, because she might have been right. For the first time since everything began, I wasn't thinking only about hurting Ryan. I was thinking about what justice actually meant. And I wasn't sure anymore if I wanted revenge, or if I just wanted the truth to win. I first noticed the change when Olivia called me early in the morning. Ethan, it's out, she said. What's out? My article. I sat up immediately. Did you publish everything? Everything I could verify. My heart started racing. Send it to me. I already did. I opened my laptop. Within seconds, I saw the headline. The words hit like a shock. Ryan Mitchell linked to financial fraud network. I whispered, "Oh my God." Daniel walked into my office. Why do you look like that? I turned the screen toward him. It's happening. He read silently, then nodded. Finally, news spread fast. Too fast. By noon, investors started calling. One of them shouted through the phone. Is this real? I didn't know everything, I said. That's not an answer. I'm trying to fix it. You already destroyed trust. He hung up. Another call came immediately. We want our money back. I don't control that anymore. You were his partner. I was also his victim. Silence. Then the line cut. Daniel placed a hand on the table. This is going to collapse his entire network. Good, I said. Emma looked at me sharply. You're not even hiding it anymore. Hiding what? That you want this to burn. I didn't deny it. Meanwhile, Ryan's world was falling apart. Olivia updated us constantly. He lost 3 major investors. Good, I said. Another 2 cut ties. Good. Daniel frowned. Ethan. What? This is turning personal for you. It became personal the moment he destroyed me. Emma shook her head. You're not hearing yourself. I stood up. Then what should I do? Feel sorry for him? No, she said quietly. Just don't become him. That line stayed with me longer than I expected. Then came Charles Mitchell, Ryan's father. The statement went public. I have no involvement in my son's actions and distance myself from him. I read it twice. Daniel exhaled. That's brutal. I nodded. Even his father is done with him. Emma asked softly, Does that satisfy you? I didn't answer, because I didn't know anymore. Ryan was no longer controlling the situation. He was reacting. Badly. Olivia called again. He's panicking. What is he doing? Trying to contact witnesses. Daniel took the phone. That's illegal now. I know, Olivia said. And he doesn't care anymore. A few days later, I got a message from Sophia. I stared at her name for a long time. Then I answered. Ethan. Her voice cracked. I'm sorry. I didn't respond immediately. For what? I finally asked. For not believing you. I leaned back. It's a little late. I know. Silence filled the call. Then she said, I was scared. So was I. I didn't understand what was happening. Neither did I. Her voice lowered. I should have trusted you. I closed my eyes. Yes. More silence. Can you forgive me? She asked. I hesitated, because the truth was complicated. I don't know, I said honestly. She whispered, I deserve that. I didn't argue. When the call ended, I sat in silence. Emma noticed immediately. Sophia. Yeah. How did it go? I don't know. Daniel entered quickly. He tried to delete records. I looked up. Ryan. Yes. Emma asked, Did he succeed? Daniel shook his head. No. It made things worse. I stood slowly. So he's destroying himself now. Emma replied, Yes. But her tone wasn't satisfied. Sounded sad. That confused me. Then everything escalated overnight. Detective James Walker called Daniel. We're moving in. On what grounds? Daniel asked. Tampering? Fraud? Obstruction. I grabbed the phone. When? Tomorrow morning. The next day I went with Daniel and Emma to the courthouse steps. Reporters were everywhere. Cameras flashed nonstop. People shouted questions. Then I saw him. Ryan Mitchell. He looked different. Not confident. Not controlled. Cornered. A reporter shouted, Ryan, did you steal from your partner? Another screamed, Is Ethan Carter innocent? Ryan froze. For a second, he looked directly at me. Something passed between us. Not friendship. Not hatred. Just the end of something. Then police moved in. Ryan Mitchell, you are under arrest. He didn't resist. Handcuffs clicked around his wrists. The cameras went wild. Flash after flash after flash. Ryan looked down. For the first time, he looked small. As they led him away, I didn't move. I didn't speak. I just watched. And I realized something I didn't expect. The empire had fallen. But I didn't feel victory. I felt the weight of everything it took to get here. I didn't expect to be called to the interrogation room. Daniel walked in first. They agreed to let you hear it, he said. Hear what? Ryan's statement. I froze. I don't want to see him. Emma stepped closer. You should. Why? Because you need closure, not guesses. I hated that she was right. We entered the facility together. The room felt cold. Ryan sat behind the glass. Handcuffed. Tired. Different. A detective nodded at me. You can listen in. I sat down slowly. The speaker crackled. Ryan's voice came through. I didn't think it would go this far. The detective asked. Explain. Ryan sighed. It started small. Small adjustments. Shifting numbers. Nothing major. I leaned forward. The detective continued. Why? Ryan hesitated, then spoke. I was always beside him, but never seen. My chest tightened. What does that mean? The detective asked. Ryan laughed bitterly. You all looked at Ethan like he was the genius. Daniel whispered beside me. This is jealousy. Ryan continued. I worked just as hard. Maybe harder. The detective pressed. So you committed fraud? I didn't think of it like that. Then how did you think of it? Survival. I clenched my fists. Ryan's voice broke slightly. I just wanted recognition. Silence filled the room. Then he added quietly, I never thought it would destroy everything. I looked down. Emma whispered, He's unraveling. Daniel nodded. But he's telling the truth now. I didn't answer, because part of me already knew. Ryan wasn't the man I imagined. Not fully, but not innocent either. The session ended. I stood up immediately. I'm not staying for more. Daniel followed me out. You okay? No. Emma caught up. You need space. I need air. But before I could leave, a guard stopped me. Mr. Carter, he asked to see you. I froze. No. It's his request. Daniel looked at me. It's your choice. I hesitated, then nodded. I'll go. They led me into a private room. Ryan was already there. No glass, no distance, just him. He looked up. Ethan. I didn't sit. Say what you have to say. He swallowed hard. I didn't expect them to bring you here. I didn't expect any of this. He nodded slowly. I know. Silence stretched. Then he spoke again. I'm sorry. I laughed once. For what part? All of it. That's not specific. I know. I stared at him. Why, Ryan? His voice cracked. I already told them. I want to hear it from you. He looked down. I hated seeing you get everything. My jaw tightened. So you destroyed me? I didn't think I was destroying you. That's worse. He flinched. I know. Another silence. Then he said quietly, I did think of you as my brother once. The words hit harder than I expected. For a second, I saw him differently. Not as the enemy, but as the boy I grew up with. The one who made promises on a broken bench. My voice softened without me meaning it. Then why didn't you stop? I didn't know how. That's not an excuse. I know. I stepped back. You took everything from me. I know. And now you're sorry? Yes. I shook my head. That doesn't fix anything. Ryan's eyes filled slightly. I never wanted to lose you. I stopped. For a moment I didn't speak. Because part of me remembered the friendship, the trust, the years. But another part remembered the collapse, the lies, the betrayal. I whispered, You already did. His shoulders dropped. I know. I turned toward the door. Ethan, he said quickly. I stopped but didn't look back. I meant what I said, he added. About you being my brother. My chest tightened painfully. I didn't answer, because answering would mean something still remained. And I couldn't afford that. I walked out. Daniel met me outside. Well? I shook my head. I'm done. Emma studied me carefully. Done how? With him. She nodded slowly, but didn't smile, because she understood something I was just learning. Some betrayals don't end with justice. They end with silence. The first time I heard the words, I didn't even believe them. Daniel called me early in the morning. It's done, he said. What's done? The investigation. I sat up instantly. What happened? They cleared you. I didn't speak for a few seconds. Say that again. You're officially cleared of all charges. My grip tightened on the phone. Are you sure? Yes. Fully verified. I exhaled slowly. For months I had waited for those words. Now they felt unreal. Emma's voice came through in the background. He needs to hear everything, she said. Daniel handed her the phone. Ethan, she said softly. Yeah. It's over. I closed my eyes. After everything, it's really over? Yes. I didn't know what to feel. Relief came first, then exhaustion, then something I couldn't name. By afternoon, the news changed completely. Headlines shifted. Ethan Carter cleared of fraud allegations. One reporter called me. Mr. Carter, do you want to respond? I hesitated. I don't need to respond. People deserve your statement. I replied. The truth already spoke for me. The calls didn't stop. Investors started apologizing. One of them said, "We should have trusted you." I answered coldly, "You didn't." Another said, "We were misled." So was I. That ended the call. Sophia contacted me that evening. Her voice was quieter than before. "I saw the news. I know. You're free now." "Yes." She hesitated. "Can we talk?" I paused. "About what?" "About us." I leaned back. "There is no us right now. Ethan." "I'm not angry," I said. "Then what are you?" "Careful." Silence followed. "I want another chance," she finally said. I closed my eyes. "I don't know if I can give that." "I understand." But I wasn't sure she did. After the call, Emma sat across from me at my office. "Still thinking about her?" she asked. "Sometimes. That's normal." "Is it?" She nodded. "You lost a lot." I looked at her. "I lost everything." She corrected me softly. "No. You lost people who didn't stay." That stayed with me. Daniel walked in holding a folder. New board finalized. I frowned. Already. New leadership. Clean structure. No Ryan influence left. I nodded slowly. "So it's really over." "It is." He placed the folder down. "Your name is restored everywhere." I didn't feel joy, just quiet. Emma leaned forward. "What now?" I didn't answer immediately. Then I said, "I don't go back." "To the company?" Daniel asked. "No. To who I was before." They both looked at me. "I can't live there anymore." Emma asked softly, "So what do you do instead?" I stood up. "I build something new." Daniel smiled slightly. "That sounds like you again." But it wasn't the same version of me. That night I walked alone through the city. No reporters. No calls. No accusations. Just silence. I thought about Ryan. Not the enemy. Not the criminal. But the boy who once sat on a broken bench with me. I whispered, "We really did this together." Then I stopped myself. "No, you did this." The truth didn't hurt anymore. It just existed. A week later, I launched my new company. Smaller. Stronger. Mine. Emma helped me set everything up. "You sure you don't want investors this time?" she asked. "No." "Why?" "Because I want control over my own life." She nodded. "Good answer." Daniel visited on opening day. "Feels different," he said. "It is different." "How?" I looked around. Nothing here was taken from someone else. He smiled. "That's growth." Sophia sent one last message. "I hope you find peace." I didn't reply immediately. Then I typed, "I already started," and deleted it. Instead I wrote nothing, because silence felt enough. Months later, I stood in my new office alone. Glass walls, quiet space, fresh start. Emma entered. "You okay?" I looked around. I used to think winning meant getting everything back. And now I think it means not needing it back. She smiled gently. "That's new you talking." I nodded. "I guess it is." I stood by the window watching the city move. For the first time, I wasn't chasing the past. I wasn't trapped in it. I was just here, breathing, building, becoming someone I finally understood. I stood outside the courthouse long before the doors opened. Daniel arrived first. "You don't have to be here," he said. "I know." "Then why are you here?" "I need to see it end." He studied me. "You sure this will help you?" "I don't know," I admitted. "But I need closure." Emma arrived next. "You look calmer," she said. "I feel empty." "That's not the same thing." "I know." We walked in together. The courtroom felt heavier than I expected. Ryan was already there, handcuffed, quiet, smaller than I remembered. The judge entered. All rise. We did. Then everything began. The prosecutor spoke first. Defendant Ryan Mitchell is charged with fraud, financial manipulation, and obstruction. I listened silently. Ryan didn't look at me. Not once. The judge turned pages. Based on evidence presented. The words blurred for a moment. Then came the sentence. Guilty on all counts. A sound moved through the room. Not applause. Not anger. Just finality. Ryan finally looked up. His voice cracked. Ethan. I didn't respond. The judge continued. Sentenced to prison term as determined by law. The gavel hit. One sharp sound. It was over. Outside, reporters swarmed. One shouted, "Do you feel justice was served?" I stopped. "I feel like it's finished," I said. Daniel leaned in. "That's all you have to say?" I looked at him. "That's all I feel." Emma stood beside me. "No revenge speech?" I shook my head. "No." "Why not?" "Because it wouldn't change anything." We walked away from the courthouse. The noise faded behind us. Later that day, I met Sophia one last time. She stood quietly when I arrived. "Thank you for coming," she said. "I wasn't sure I should." "I needed to see you," she said. "Why?" "Because I need to accept what happened." I nodded. "That's good." She looked down. "I was wrong about you." "Yes. I know that now." I didn't interrupt. She continued. "I let fear decide for me." "I know. I lost someone who never actually betrayed me." The words hung between us. "I'm sorry," she said again. I replied, "I forgive you, but I can't go back." She nodded slowly. "I wasn't asking you to." We stood in silence. Then she said, "Do you still think about everything?" "Every day," I admitted. "Does it hurt?" "Less than before." She smiled faintly. "That's something." After she left, Emma joined me outside. "That was brave," she said. "For both of us." She looked at me. "You okay?" "I think I'm learning to be." A week later, Daniel called a small meeting. We closed every remaining legal issue. I nodded. "So it's truly done." "Yes." He added, "Ryan's father still refuses contact." I exhaled slowly. "Some doors don't reopen." Emma asked, "Do you feel satisfied?" I thought carefully. "No." "Then what do you feel?" "Stable." That surprised them. Daniel smiled slightly. "That might be better than satisfaction." Months passed. Life became quieter, cleaner, more real. I built my new company step by step. No shortcuts, no blind trust. One evening, my mother stood beside me in my office. "You survived something most people wouldn't," she said. "I didn't feel like I survived it," I replied. "But you did." Emma joined us. "Dinner?" she asked. My mother smiled. "She's good for you." I laughed softly. "She's honest." Emma bumped my shoulder lightly. "Try not to get used to it." I looked at both of them. For a moment, I realized something I hadn't noticed before. I wasn't alone anymore. Not like before. Not like during the collapse. My mother spoke quietly. "What did you learn from all this?" I looked out the window. "I learned that betrayal doesn't define you," I said. "It tries to," Emma added. "Yes," I agreed. "But it fails when you keep going." Daniel walked in for the last time that day. "You're thinking too much again," he said. "I always do." He smiled. "That's why you made it through." I stood by the window. "Ryan took a lot from me," I said. "But he didn't take everything." Emma asked softly, "What didn't he take?" I looked at them. "My future." The room went quiet. Not heavy, just calm. For the first time, that silence felt like peace. And I understood something clearly. The price of betrayal was high, but the cost of surviving it made me stronger than I ever imagined I could be.